Hey everyone, this is Jen from Simple Luxuries Travel, and today we're going to be talking all about RunDisney. We're so excited that RunDisney just announced that all of the events will now be both in person and a virtual option. So starting with Wine and Dine this fall, and then Marathon Weekend in January and Princess Weekend in February, we have a lot of registrations to get ready for. So you're here because you need a couple of tips and tricks. So let's get started. And the first step is, if you do not have a RunDisney account, now is the time to do it. With registrations coming up, you want to have everything registered ahead of time, so that makes registration day that much easier. It's really stressful. You have to have a lot of patience, but also quick fingers on registration day. So if you can eliminate steps to the process ahead of time, it's always best to do so. So the first thing that you want to do is make a RunDisney account. And we do that. Let me see if I can share my screen here for you. By going to RunDisney.com. So you can see that this is what it will look like. It will say every mile is magical. Up at the top, you have events, training, plan your trip, which you can come to me and I'll plan the trip for you. You just have to get the bibs. And then there's results, community, and help and support. When you click on help and support, that is where you will find manage account. And you're going to click on that. And it will say, oops, you have to log in. So that's where you're going to start. It's going to ask you if you have an account, that this is where you will enter all that information. And if you don't have an account, down here at the bottom, the second blue says create account, and that's where you're going to go. So I already have an account, so I'm just going to and then we click sign in. Okay, so you can see my account here tells us that I've already submitted things. This is for the summer virtual series. So this is what is your dashboard over here. So that blue thing that's lit up there is your dashboard. You'll have your registrations and buy products. We just want to go back out. Let's see. So you can see here, this is me. It has all of my stuff for the summer series that I did. So over here, underneath, your name will come up and it will say your profile and log out. But I want to go back. Okay, so I'm going to log back out. It will let me. Okay, log out. I just want to be able to show you. Okay, so underneath events. So Wine and Dine is first, and the registration for that is Tuesday at 10 a.m. on the 13th. And this should give us all the information about that as well. So you can see right here, general registration for in-person is July 13th at 10 a.m. Okay, so down here, all of this where it says registration opening soon, that will be green, I believe, and it will say registration now or registration open. And that's where you will, that is where you will register. So step 2 is going to be for registration day. So Wine and Dine is going to be on the 13th of July, 2021. So if you're watching this in a year or two, I have to insert the date and the time, but at 10 a.m. That's when this area down here will be able to be clicked upon. Okay, so you need to know which races you're going for. You are able to register more than one person at a time. So you would register yourself, and then you can register your friend, your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whoever, daughter, son, whoever's racing with you. You can also do their registration for them after you've done yours. So you need to make sure that you have to do yourself first. Make sure you spell your name correctly. Make sure you type in your email address correctly. There's going to be a lot of information. Read it quickly, but read it precisely and answer the questions. You want to move through it quickly with speed because there are thousands of other people doing the same thing at the same time. So when you come back over here to events, it will also break it down underneath the tab for you where you can, it will give you the fees and broken out all the highlights and stuff. Now for Wine and Dine for the 2-course challenge, there is an after party at Epcot. So make sure that you, if you're going for that, make sure you enjoy that. So Marathon Weekend's registration is, for general registration in person, is the 27th of July at 10 a.m. Now, it says 10 a.m., but I want you logged on to your computer at 9:30. Okay, you're going to have to do some refreshing at this point. Okay, so up until 10 o'clock, you're going to refresh. You're going to be logged onto your computer, your iPad, your cell phone. You want to have multiple browsers going so that you have a better chance of getting into the queue faster. Whichever avenue you go through, your phone, your iPad, your laptop, whichever one gets you into the queue fastest is the one that you're going to end up going with. So make sure that you know how to use it, you know how to type on it, you know how to click buttons off of it. So just make sure you're comfortable with whatever you're using. I always have 2 things up, my cell phone and then my computer. So just make sure you know what works best for you. Okay, so the same thing on the 27th at 10 is when the queue will open. I find that sometimes the queue gets opened up earlier. So I'm always ready at 9:30 and I'm refreshing a lot. You feel like you're playing this like game against a computer that you just don't even know what time it is, but I'm refreshing. And then you get into the queue, which is where, again, this whole down here where it says registration opening soon becomes green and it says register now. And you're going to click on, if you just want the marathon, then you go and select that. If you want the Dopey Challenge, you go and you select that. So you'll go through a series of questions. It will ask you your name, your age. It will also ask you for a proof of time. If you have one, make sure you enter it. It will also tell you that you can come back later and enter that proof of time by a drop dead date. So let's just pick a random date, November 18th. I don't know if that is the actual date, but before that date, you could go back in and put your proof of time. So if you know you're going to be running a half marathon or a 10K, a timed event in, say, September, and you don't have a proof of time yet, but you will at that point, then once you get that proof of time, you can go back in and enter that proof of time at that point, okay? So make sure you know what you're going to register for on registration day. And then if you're registering a buddy with you, make sure you have the spelling of their name, their date of birth, and their email address and their mailing address, just for safekeeping. I don't know what it's going to look like now after COVID. So all of those things are important. Just think of that you need all the information as possible. So The virtual races have a different date. They are a couple of days later. So if you're looking for the virtual, you have more time than the in-person registration. Those will not open up until a later time. So you can see that there's 4 things listed here, and then there's Princess Half Marathon Weekend, and that registration is not until August, but it's going to be the same. It's going to be log into the account. Down here at the bottom where it says registration opening soon, it will say register now, and you'll click on that. General registration for Princess 2022 will open for in-person on August 24th at 10 a.m. Again, you're going to log in earlier. So I keep talking about the queue. A couple of points for the queue. Do not refresh at all. Once you have entered into the queue, you'll know you're in there. There will be no question about whether you are in the queue or not. You'll know. It'll look different. It will actually say, do not refresh. Don't. It'll kick you all the way back to the end of the line. Do not refresh when you're in the queue. Before you get in the queue, you can refresh. When you're in the queue, no more refreshing, okay? Now, time seems to like stand still in here. You could be waiting for like 2 minutes, or you could be waiting for like 30. So again, the more devices that you have going and are in the queue, the better chances you have of getting up to that front of the line where you can start registering everything, okay? So again, you want to log into your account 30 minutes ahead of time. You want to have your account already created. You're going to refresh before you get in the queue. You're going to have multiple devices open and ready. And then once you're in the queue, no refreshing. You just sit and wait. And I will tell you, it is the longest time that you have ever waited for anything. It may only be 3 minutes, but your heart will be pounding like you are running a marathon. I kid you not. So just try and relax. It's normal. It's going to look weird until you get into where you can go in and register. Again, make sure you answer all the questions to the best of your ability. Some of the things you can go back in and edit. I do not believe your name and your email address is one of those things. But you'll go in and you'll answer all those questions, and then you'll click on the payment link. You'll enter your credit card. Make sure you either have it sitting next to you wherever you are, or you have it memorized so that you can do that part quickly. And then down at the bottom, I believe, before you get to the payment page, down at the bottom of that was where you could add your buddy and register them as well. So then you just make sure you have a plan with your partner or group of people that you're doing, and make sure that you know how you are getting reimbursed for that. I believe it will only take 1 credit card. I can't remember how that works, but I'm pretty sure you can only do 1 form of payment. Now, there was one time, and I want to say it was for Princess of 2020, that for the life of me, I could not figure out why on earth it would not allow me to click submit payment. And there was a little donation box that you had to put something into it. And I want to say I had to type in like 0.00 in order for it to get recognized that I was trying to say, no, I don't want to donate anything to this right now. And I could not figure it out. I had put a 0 in there, but it would not register it right. I couldn't back it out. I couldn't move forward. I couldn't move back. It was a mess. Anyway, luckily I had my second device open and ready, and I was already into that and going forward. So just think of your second device as your backup in case when you're actually doing the registration on the one thing and something goes wonky, you have a backup plan. So the queue, again, remember, it can last it can last up to 30 minutes of you sitting there with this, like, sometimes it's like the castle in the background. Just don't refresh, because that's your spot in line. And the last thing is, and I've learned this the hard way sometimes, after you register and you submit, you do your payment and you hit submit, you will get an email from RunDisney saying, congratulations, welcome to Marathon Weekend or Princess Weekend or Wine and Dine. Log back into your account, and then you can shop for the merchandise. So it's pre-sale. So this is actually a really good thing, especially for Princess Weekend, because you get to walk kind of like a fast pass into the expo to pick up your pre-purchased stuff. There's long lines for the merch for RunDisney events at the expo. So if you are thinking about getting anything, I would highly suggest doing the pre-sale so that you can kind of like, walk to the front of the line to go in and pick up your stuff and not have to wait in the long lines to get in, because your stuff will already be pulled for you and waiting behind a counter. But I would do that after you've registered for the races, and I would not wait, I would not do that until afterwards, and you can log back in and do that easily. So I hope this helps ease a little bit of the anxiety of race day registration. I know it can be quite overwhelming, but if you can eliminate some of the factors ahead of time, it would be really great. So create that account now so that you're ready to go. And then race day, just make sure you have enough time. Sometimes it can take, a full 2 hours from when you first log in at 9:30. And then all the way through the registration, it can take some time. So make sure you have the time set aside. Make sure you've looked around at the RunDisney website so you're familiar with what it's going to look like. Don't wait till, the race day registration day to get, familiar with that website. The queue, don't refresh, and then log back in later for the pre-sale merch. I hope this has been helpful. Please feel free to email me at jlolly@simpleluxuriestravel.com for any trip planning that you need or any questions about race day registration. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you real soon.